Okay, everybody, it's ninja time, so let's get started. For today's lesson, again, we will need a block, or if you want, you can use a small bench. I'm going to be using a PVC pipe today. If you want to use a small hand towel or a pillowcase, that's fine too. Again, we're just using it as a point of reference or as something to hold, or something to hold on to with our hands, and a mat. So if you have you can also use a couple pillows for this if you don't have your own mat. All right, so let's go ahead and start our warm up. So let's go ahead and just do a little jog in place. Just a little small light jog on our toes. Good. Now let's warm up our legs a little bit forward, do some high knees. Now let's do some bottom kickoffs. And side to side. Twisty hops. Front to backs, or some wacky jacks, as they're called. And some good old jumping jacks. Good. Now let's do some inside outs. So here, I actually want you to do it with a tucked knee first. So inside to out. Here, if you want to put down your, actually put up your box or your bench, or use your pipe or your pillowcase as a reference point, be my guest. Okay, so get that foot up nice and high. So here, I'm really gonna focus on warming up our knees and our hips, as well as our wrists and elbows and shoulders, because I'm gonna go through a couple of floor motions today. So a couple break dancing and some capoeira moves. So I wanna make sure that your legs are nice and warm. Okay, so now let's go the other way. So here I'm doing it tucked. If you want, you can do it with your legs straight, completely up to you. Again, I'm just doing it with my knees because my hips are a little bit sore because I've kind of been doing this lesson all week, so. Good, now let's warm up our upper body a little bit. So let's do some trunk twists. And some arm scissors. And arms up and down. Good, now let's do some elbow circles out. And elbow circles in. And let's warm up our wrists. Bend them side to side. And then a circle. And shake it out. Yeah, let's stretch out our core a little bit. So let's go into a seal stretch. Good. Then while we're here, lift up our toes. So we're in our mermaid pose, and let's do some mermaid push-ups. Cool. Push it back into a cat stretch. Shake everything out. And as usual, let's go ahead and let's start with a little small core exercise. So, first thing I want to see you guys do is once I go ahead and uh, grab onto your pipe, your pillowcase, your towel, whichever you're using to hang on to, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a small circuit. So I want you to do from your back. I want you to tuck up, then straight, either toe touch or touch your shins, and then straddle. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to be holding on to the ends of my pole, since that's about a little bit wider than shoulder width for me. So then again, as I'm laying here, I'm going to tuck, so knees through. I'm going to do legs straight. So I'm going to try to touch my shins, and then straddle. So I'm going to put the pipe between my knees. Okay, so I'm going to do that for about a minute here, or a little bit less than a minute. So again, it's tuck, pike, straddle. Okay, or think of it as you're doing knees, ankles, open. And begin. Tuck, V, straddle, tuck, V, up, straddle, step down, tuck, V, straddle, up. So you just go at your own pace. Me, I'm doing it a little bit quick because I'm working on my speed. But if you're having trouble with keeping it coordinated, do it as slow as you need to. So you go knees, stop for a second, pike, stop for a second, and then straddle, and then hold. And it's completely up to you. Okay. Go ahead and stop right there. So now what we're gonna do, similar exercise, except this time, we're just gonna turn sideways. So here, I'm sitting and balancing. While I'm here, I'm just gonna tap the sides of my knees with my hands. So I'm here keeping it wide, so that way I have to really turn. So if I have it like this, I can kind of cheat it a little bit, not turn so much. But if you can't turn that much, if you're having trouble balancing, then yes, slowly scoot your hands in. But here, like I said, I'm keeping it wide, so I have to really turn myself. So go ahead if you need to. Shake out the bone in your tummy. I'm going to reset the clock. And begin. Balancing, tap, center, tap, tap. So here I'm doing it tucked, and I'm just holding my knees up, holding my feet up. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can do it in a pike. Try to reach for the sides of your feet, or you can go low, lift up, and then tap. But again, we're focusing on twisting here. Okay. So go ahead, keep going. Almost there. Couple more. And stop. Nice walk, everyone. So now, go ahead and toss your pipe to the side. And now we're gonna walk on some threading. So, what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna practice moving side to side from a seated position. So as you guys see, I'm seated. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Okay, so as you guys see, I'm seated. Then all I'm gonna do is I have one leg bent. Okay, take my little leg, reach it through. As I reach it through, as you guys can see, I'm putting some of my weight on this arm. I push myself over, and then now I'm slightly off to the side. Okay, I'm just gonna switch again, and to the side. Hold myself up a little bit, step through, and then scoot over. Okay, so this is very similar to our speed step, except we're just pushing ourselves side to side. Okay, so this is a really good exercise. One, just for coordination, because we're having to slide through, but also it's a little bit of a strength exercise because we're having to lift ourselves up, push, and then slowly cradle ourselves as we come down. Okay, so just like I did there, we're just gonna slowly slide. We're just gonna switch side to side. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm kind of tongue-tied though. So again, as you switch sides, slowly bring yourself down on your hip and then rotate around. Okay, so that's why we did all those exercises. That's why we just did those core exercises. Because also, you guys can see I'm actually holding myself up for a second each time I switch. Okay, and at the same time, I'm not just dropping myself on the ground. Okay, luckily this carpet's pretty soft, so I can let myself drop a little bit. But in case you're doing this on, say, like unpadded carpet, on a wood floor, on tile, you want to let yourself down slowly. Because again, this is actually a breakdancing move. Okay, I don't know what the actual term for it is aside from threading, but as you can see, it's almost like I'm dancing a little bit. Okay, all right, enough talk. So again, we're gonna do that for about a minute and begin. So again, take it as slow or as fast as you want. If you want, you can start with straddle, step through, push up. You can be like me, or just switching your legs side to side. Keep it going. So actually go ahead and stop for a second, everyone. So heel, it's getting a little bit repetitive and a little bit boring, just kind of going side to side like this. You can add a little bit of style to this. Okay, so if you guys are watching when I was doing it, so if you look at how I'm doing it, as I'm going through, I'm actually turning myself upside down for a second. See, I'm actually turning my stomach towards the ground for a second as I step over. So as I'm here, see, I'm actually looking through my arm, then I'm letting myself back down. So what that's doing is it's adding a little bit more to it since I'm turning myself in. I'm actually walking the muscles in my chest and my shoulders to hold myself up. But again, I'm also adding a little bit of style to it. So if I wanted to, I could also, instead of just doing one hand, I can do two. Okay, right. So if you want, you can go ahead and do that. So instead of just facing forward the whole time, you can turn yourself upside down. Look back for a second, and then sit back down. Okay? All right, and resume. Okay, couple more. And stop. stop. Nice walk, everyone. Go ahead and catch your breath. Shake out your arms. Shake out your hips if you need to. But so, like I said, as I was doing that, you don't necessarily have to look back. You can look whatever direction you want, but I was looking straight ahead because that's almost like when you're breakdancing, obviously you want to see what's around you, but if you're doing, say, like a breakdance like battle, you want to look at the other person to make sure that they're looking at you. So it's kind of like so again, it's kind of a style thing, but it's also, like I said, it's kind of like a battle thing. Well, as you're breakdancing, you want to look at the other person and go, yeah, you see what I'm doing? But anyway, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that same motion. We're gonna do that threading motion, and then the reason why I wanted you guys to try, I wanted you guys to add in that little tone is because now instead of toning and then sitting back down, you're actually gonna rotate all the way around and then sit down. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. So as I'm here, again, same motion, bending my knee, but as I reach through, I'm actually gonna step my other foot through, then I sit down. So if I do that going this way, as I step through, step the other foot back, and then see I'm actually back where I was. So let's go ahead and try that now. So as you step here, step through, step back, and then step down. Okay. Actually, hang on. Let's try this instead. Okay, because I just realized that that might be confusing for some people that aren't as coordinated as I am. So instead of taking 2 steps, you're just gonna take 1 again. But this time, instead of stepping underneath, I want you to step over. Okay. So here, instead of stepping under, we're gonna step over. Sorry, guys, I just remembered that was the progression I wanted to do. So you're gonna step over. As you step over, then you just roll over on that foot. So again, if I straighten my other leg, this leg is gonna step over. So see, I'm essentially doing it backwards now. So this time my leg's bent, my leg is sticking through. I'm gonna roll over on this leg. So when I finish, I'm right back into my pike. Okay. So step over, turn and sit, which again, you wanna let yourself down slowly. You don't wanna just fling yourself over and then land on your toe. Okay, so everybody got that? Cool. So you can go whichever direction you want. I'm gonna go this way since obviously I'm at the end of the screen already. And begin. Step through, tone, step through, tone, step through, tone. So again, as you do this, you kind of want to track your motion because that's going to keep you from getting dizzy. So as I go around, I'm actually keeping an eye on my straight leg. So that way, as I tone, yeah, I'm rotating, but because my foot for the most part isn't moving too much, it's keeping me from getting dizzy. Okay, couple more. Finish strong, and stop. Cool. So now let's go ahead and combine those 2 motions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 1, sliding through. So we're gonna do 1, sliding through. Then we're gonna switch over on that same leg we just used to reach. We're gonna step, then tone. Okay. So then now when you go the other way, same thing. Step through, push, sit, step, and tone. Okay, so we're doing a slide and a tone, which something that's gonna help you connect the 2 moves is I want you guys to keep an eye. So since I'm straightening this leg, I want you guys to keep an eye on my right foot. So as I reach it through, straight, as I slide over, see how this foot's already bent? So see, I don't need to go back into a straddle if I don't want to. I could, but since it's already bent from me sliding across, I'm just gonna throw it over. Then, as I tone, I'm gonna keep it bent. So see, now when I go back, all I need to do is just switch my motion now. Switch through. As I slide over, it's already bent. So when I step over, see, I'm setting myself up to continue the motion of it. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and do a sequence of that. So again, you can go whatever direction you want. I'm gonna go this way. And actually, since I'm getting through this a little bit faster than I thought I would, let's try this. So here you have the option. You can either keep going the same way, or if you feel like you have a pretty good hold on this, you can try to switch. You can try to go back and forth. So you can do one direction sliding, one direction toning, then switch it back. So in this case, I'm actually gonna slide over a little bit so I don't go off the screen. Slide and step. Slide and step. And then since I'm here, I'm just gonna continue the motion. Slide through and around. Okay? So again, this one's completely up to you. Okay? So here I'm giving you a little bit of some creative freedom. Since you practiced both moves on their own, I'm giving you the opportunity to kind of play with it a little bit. Okay? All right. So 1 minute on the clock and begin. So me, I'm just gonna switch back and forth. I'm just gonna slide side to side, slide side to side, and then switch it up with the rotations. So here, I'm actually doing a different sequence each time. So, also at the same time, you don't have to necessarily move. You can do the same move. You can also do the moves by staying in place. So in this case, as I slide through, I'm just lifting that foot up. Then, as I switch, same thing. So see, I'm not here. So here, you don't necessarily even need to move. You can do it in place and just practice doing it in place. So same thing when you step over. Step over, lift that foot up. Step over, lift that foot up. So you can actually play, so you can actually play with it and think of it like you're bouncing your foot back and forth. So in this case, I'm trying to kick my foot, but it keeps moving out of the way. Okay, so right there, you can be playful with it if you want. Okay, so gotta keep it going a little bit. And stop. Nice work, everyone. So I hope everybody learned or worked on a nice combination of their own for that one. Because now we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're still gonna work on a floor motion, but I'm gonna make it a little bit. I'm gonna integrate it a little bit more with some of our ninja moves. So here. So here, what I want you to do is I want you to go into your, so what I want you to do here is actually, I want you to sit in front of your mat, but I want your back facing the direction that, I want your back facing the mat, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn around and then roll. Okay, so how that's gonna work is we're gonna be right here. So right here, you can pick any one of the flow motions we just did. So whether it's the reach, whether it's the step, whichever one you want to do. But with this one, as you push yourself up, we're gonna tone. As we tone, we're gonna jump in. After we jump in, we're gonna shoulder roll. So see, now I'm back. So now I'm on the other side. So now I'm gonna do the same thing. So on that last one, I did the reach through. This time I'm gonna do the step over, but same thing. As I tone up, I jump in, then I shoulder roll. So now I'm back where I started. Okay. So again, right here, I'm gonna give you some creative freedom. You can do a combination. You can, yeah, so here you can do a combination. So you can do one reach, or you can make up your own. So in this case, so for example, here, I'm starting in a crisscross. So as I'm here, I'm going to actually jump up from this position. So see, in my squat, then I roll, and I finish back in my crisscross. Okay, so that's something that I could do. Another idea you guys can try is you can try just going 1 foot straight, 1 foot bent. You can rock and roll. As you rock and roll, turn yourself over, then fall into it. Okay. So that one I did it slowly, so you can see that as I rocked, I turned myself around. But if you connect it, it actually makes it a little bit easier since you're falling over anyway. So here, one leg straight, one leg bent. I rock and roll. As I kick up, turn, and then I throw myself over. Okay, which is why I'm having you do a shoulder roll instead of a forward roll. So then that way, in case you don't get a perfect, so in case you don't have a perfect setup into it, it's still possible to do it. Okay, so for example, that one, it looked like I meant to do that, but you guys would have known that I actually didn't turn around as much as I wanted to. So, see, if I hadn't said anything, would you guys have noticed that I messed that up? Well, messed that up? Probably not. Because see, a shoulder roll, as long as you stay tucked, as long as you don't hit your head, it works. So, let's go ahead and play around with that a little bit. Okay. All right, everybody ready? And begin. Feel, I'm actually going to feel side. And while you're in your plank, you can also play around with it also. And so don't do a little crisscross action before I jump in. So again, the key thing here is that you're rolling from some type of a squat, or you're rolling from your feet in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Could roll from your knees, but that's just gonna be more work on your part, and yeah, it's just gonna be more work on your part. Because you could roll from your knees, but it doesn't really give you that much space to correct if needed. Okay. Keep going, everybody. All right. So go ahead and stop right there. Just now, let's go ahead and grab onto our blocks or a bench or whatever it is that you grab to use as a obstacle. Because here again, we're going to integrate some of these flow motions with some of our bolts. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cartwheel Let me actually scoot this back a little bit so I have more space. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to cartwheel. After I cartwheel, I'm gonna go into one of the motions, then motion into my roll. So for example, here, when I cartwheel, and land on that foot, sink down on it, let myself down slowly. So then while I'm here, I can step over. After I step over, I'm in my plank. Well, in this case, I'm in a lunge. So since I'm upright, I can go right into the roll. So that was it, move by move. If I do it a little bit quicker, and so completely up. So that's one way. Another way is I can actually start from the flow motion. So in this case, I'm going to go from the slide. As I step up, or as I push myself up, I'm in my lunge. Then I can kick myself around and then go into my roll. Okay. So here I'm giving you a choice between any three of the moves. So you can do the cartwheel into a flow motion into a roll, or you can do the cartwheel into a flow motion into the roll, or you can do it completely backwards. So you can start from the roll, do a flow motion, and then roll. Okay. The reason why I'm giving you guys some creative freedom here is because, like I said, you've been at this long enough to where you should have a pretty good bank of moves. So what this is doing is that it's helping you with your adaptability, meaning, in case things don't work exactly the way you want, you can still pull something out of it, but also at the same time, like I said, it's allowing you to build up your own creativity. Because as you saw, a lot of the combinations I did, I said, this is what I'm doing. Okay. So what I do isn't necessarily what you're going to do. The way that I do things isn't necessarily the way that you're going to do things. For example, I like doing, so like you guys saw, I like doing the rolls. Some of you might not like doing rolls. So that's why I also gave you the option of doing something a little bit more upright. Cool? All right. So I'm going to show you one more. So I'm going to show you one more combination. Well, I actually go back and forth. So if you've been doing a lot of the things I've been having you do today, go back and forth. Same thing can happen here. So for example, I can go into my set, into my step over. As I turn around, I can pop myself up into my cartwheel, sit, roll, land in my crescent, turn, and then back the other way. Cool? Cool. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a little bit of time to work on whatever it is you want to work on, and go for it. So I'm gonna start cleaning up, but keep going, you guys. I'm keeping an eye on you. All right, keep it going. All right, go ahead and stop right there. Nice walk, everyone. So that's all I have for you guys today. So let's go ahead and go into our cool down stretch. So go ahead and have a seat one more time in a straddle. Leg straight, knees and toes up. Reach as much as you can. And as always, don't forget your breathing. So again, we did a lot with our shoulders, our elbows, our wrists, as well as our knees and hips today. So go ahead and put one hand down, one arm up and reach. So make sure after we're done, not only do you make sure you take a good, make sure you drink a lot of water, but go ahead and switch sides. But also remember to stretch out those areas a little bit more. So this stretch is good for core. So if your sides are holding a little bit from doing all of those holds, especially from the pushes, this is a good stretch for that. Go ahead and pull it into butterfly. So the stretch is good for your hips as well as the inside of your knees. So this stretch, if you're not really feeling it, you can rock side to side. Each time you rock to the side, try to push the leg that's off the ground down a little bit. So then you give that muscle more space to stretch. So on this side, I'm just holding it. But like I said, you can do it side to side like this. Then rock and roll. Hike. Now let's go ahead and stretch out our forearms and our wrists. So up on our knees, palms down, fingers facing us. And flip it over. Then shake it out. Then last stretch, let's go into our tummy table. Or if you can do a bridge, go ahead and push yourself up into a bridge. Whichever way you're doing it, lift that belly button up as high as you can and chin to your chest. Especially if you're in a bridge, because when we come down, that way we don't knock our heads. So now let's rock and roll. Up on our feet. And that is ninja class for today. Nice walk today, everybody. And I will see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.